Very good runs. Last run was very refreshing. Overall, our stash value is quite up, I would say. We're down 1 gold outlands, I think. But other than that, like, I don't really care about the other stuff that we're down, so... Very, very, very good runs. The gold bully made such a big difference in all those runs, I'm gonna be real with you. That shit was just fucking drilling people, bro, from a mile away. It was so stupid. I do think the issue is... Okay. Bit of a truth nuke incoming here. If they nerf the bully, the game is gonna feel like ass, I think. Well, I guess battle rifles are cool. Battle rifles are cool, but like, you won't be able to buy a battle rifle 24/7. So like, I don't know. If they nerf the bully, the game's gonna feel a lot different. This game, there's a lot of issues here. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you could solve things. Honestly, what they probably need to do is buff other guns. Because the bully, I think, is like a good baseline gun. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's... Like, it is OP, but, like, appropriately OP, I think. Yeah, I mean... Razor should be cheaper than M77. There's basic bread. Yeah, like... The issue is the shotguns, too. Like, the Miss Raya really fucks up my understanding of balance in this game. Yeah, I mean... Bully is way too good for how easily available it is. The issue is, if the gun is too good... They can't make a gun so good, but super rare. Like, the Miss Raya... Right? The Miss Raya is, like, too good. Right? I think. But that's because there's no lower tier equivalent. I honestly, the real answer is I don't really like that the guns are more rare. Because you need guns that are... It's like the Waster nerf, right? The Waster nerf being available, made it so, like, it was reasonable, right? Like, with the Waster, you still had a fighting chance. And the Bully is also the same. Like, the Bully is a good gun so that you have a fighting chance against basically anything. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think they should make it rare, per se. The balance is always hard in a game like this, right? Because you have to balance availability with price, with performance, right? There's all of these things that go into making a gun good or not good. And you're not wrong. Mizraya is not too good. Slick Mag is good. You're not entirely wrong in that, but even then, the Mizraya is still far and away the best shotgun. Like, the Waster is literally useless. The Circuit Breaker is only good if they are standing still in the bubble because they don't see the giant fucking blue thing charging up. And that's only when it's legendary. And then, for example, like the sniper thing, the railgun, like, this should be the one thing that's one-shotting. But for some reason, the railgun was the thing that was one-shotting. The Zeus sucks dick. Waster of Stack Overflow, it still sucks. I've literally put 3 rounds into somebody point blank and it didn't kill them because variance. Like, the Waster is still super, super, super fucking bad. I think they just need to nerf the rechamber rate, personally. Like, you should have fear of people. It makes the mind games a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like, a Waster meant that you had to think really hard if you were gonna push a corner. But now it's like, okay, I have a Mizraya. I'm just gonna fucking push this corner and hope they don't have a Mizraya. Like, it shouldn't be down to that. There's just there's a large issue with the game balance, I think, right now, weapons-wise. I think they don't need to nerf the Bully. I think they just need to buff everything else, is really the answer, to make it actually competitive. And probably maybe nerf the Gold Bully. The Gold Bully is pretty strong, but... Isn't TTK already super short? TTK is super short when everyone's running bullies and shotguns. The TTK is not quick when somebody's running this gun, or the fucking, like, this gun, or this gun, or this gun. The thing is, Tarkov, what Tarkov had that did really well was that it had armor zones, and taking a headshot basically always killed you, which was good, because it made it so you were never, like, so outgeared you couldn't win. I think they're letting people get into gold mods for the idea. Gold mods for literally every other gun sucks dick, though. Like, I'll be honest, the overrun does not get better with the gold mod. Literally every other gun does not get better with the gold mod. You know what I mean? Because one, sometimes the gold mod is just quality of life, like these things, which don't really matter because if they're in proc sensor range, you can hear them. Versus this thing where it makes the gun, like, infinitely more dangerous, or the Mizzy one. And, like, you say the V22 is good. The V22 is not that good because it's a pretty short range gun, so you're gonna lose to the Mizraya. And it also just loses to the Bully. It's not bad, don't get me wrong. But, and then, like, this thing's all right, but it doesn't really increase the, lethality of it. You know what I mean? it just increases its utility, which is kind of meh. Well, like even this thing, which increases that stuff, it's like, it's a good mod. It increases lethality, but it's still a bad gun. Problem for me is the blade's fun to use. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't make every gun feel like ass as well, right? If you make every gun feel like ass, the game sucks, right? Like Tarkov sucked the most when every gun was nerfed and it felt like everything was like not killing anything. You need to have some sort, you need to have good guns. And then you just need to have, like, the gap on guns can't be that big. I'm starting to notice. Like, you can have good guns, but you need to have multiple good options. You know what I mean? And due to the game not having, like, once again, the one-tap headshots, close range, like, a bully is really never gonna compete with a shotgun. If you're not rolling bully, Mizzy, or M77, you're trolling? Yeah. Like, it's literally just those guns. And even then, I would say the M77 is significantly worse than the bully, like 90% of the time. The shotguns are such a problem in this game. Like, unironically, the shotguns are such a problem. Shotguns are always a hard balancing topic, especially in this game, right? But the thing about the waster that was fair. The thing about the waster that was fair. A waster is not gonna kill 3 people instantaneously. Or even 2. Like, you could sometimes kill 2 people with the waster. Pretty unlikely. Even with stack overflow, it was pretty unlikely. But like, you know, I think the waster, what was fair about it was that, yeah, it couldn't kill the whole team. But the Mizzy, man, biggest issue in the game is util. Bubs are so OP. I don't even think that's the case. I think bubs are actually too underpowered as well when you start to factor in other guns. Because 2 people shooting a bub nearly instantly kills it. Please hover the Bart SMG. I keep laughing. Bro, you're so stupid. The thing is, like, grenades, you should be able to util out, but you can't util out a grenade with the way, a shotgun as well. Like, that's a hard spot. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's a hard spot because bubs are actually underpowered, especially in relation to the grenade spam and the other stuff. Because the game would be significantly worse if bubs didn't exist, like significantly worse. And I don't think a lot of people see that. Biggest issue is self-reses. Self-reses are the one thing in this game I think is actually okay, to be honest. I think self-reses are like good with how fast the time to kill is because it does make it so you actually have a chance to fight back at range. Like, self-reses aren't necessarily the issue if shotguns didn't exist, right? If shotguns in the Mizzy didn't exist, self-reses would be fine because you'd have mid-range fights and it'd become a battle of attrition. But then the battle of attrition is kind of weird because then you can't really push, but then sometimes you can push, but then you would also get fucked by a third party. Self-reses are the only thing that really prevent you from getting third party instantly a lot of the time. There's a lot of issues. You know what I mean? Like, there's no easy solution here. Grenade is a gear item. You equip it and you get infinite grenade throws, 40-second cooldown. If you make a grenade 40-second cooldown, it'd be literally useless. I lost so many 1v3s to self-res, it's crazy. See, but that's like probably fine, because if you're in a 1v3, you probably shouldn't be winning that. Because if you make it so you can't self-res, then you will have situations where you play better, but then you just lose because of something else, right? Nerfing the knife was like probably one of the worst decisions in the world, to be honest, because that also removed an entire option to deal with shotguns. I don't know why they haven't, like, that was another thing. Like, people thought knives were an issue. They weren't an issue. We just nerfed them though, and then now everything else became infinitely stronger. You know what I mean? Knife nerf was warranted. If you didn't have a shotgun, you could spray a person with a gun point blank, hit every shot, and still die because the knife has higher DPS. That's a gun problem, not a knife problem. Knife on Assassin was pretty bad, but they got nerfed at the same time. See, but that's like, that's not an issue. That's not an issue though. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, the knife was strong, yes, but in the era where a Mizzy can instantly kill you with a slick mag, or a waster can instantly kill you, the shotgun was a good thing. Now, that's a separate issue where if you wanted the knife to be bad, you need to nerf the other two things too. If you want to make any other gun better close range, then yeah, you would need to nerf the whole package. But now it's just shotgun, right? Yeah, like, and at the end of the day, yeah, the knife, you could just not be point blank. Like, if you're complaining about the knife killing you point blank, why are you not having a waster? Yeah, I mean, why are you not wastering them at that point? Or Mizraya, that's the push and flow and the ebb and flow. You know what I mean? Yeah, also, yeah, recon buff, the knife would have been way weaker. Way weaker. Still cancer with bubble knife fights. See, bubble knife fights, though, is the inherent counter to the bubble. So by nerfing that, bubbles got infinitely stronger. Old bubble with the old knife, once people started getting the knife builds, was probably gonna be okay. You know what I mean? So that's the issue. When we're talking about we need to nerf this one thing, we need to nerf this other thing, there's a lot of infinitely other factors that cause this. And yeah, they definitely started nerfing before people discovered most of the game. I think unironically, Release Marathon was actually kind of pog. Release Marathon's balance, except for possibly the sniper with the long shot. I think the long shot nerf was probably the like one solid nerf that they did. The long shot nerf was really good. They actually, the snipers are in a really good spot. I'll say it. All the snipers, amazing spot. Really good spot. I actually really fuck with it. But everything else, I think the game was possibly already fine with where it was. But so, whole team running double waster ammo bag before the nerf is disgusting. No, I think the nerf on the waster, once again, was okay. Or like they needed to nerf the waster, but they needed to nerf the team kill potential of the waster, not the actual damage of it. I don't think self-revives should be tweaked until they tweak the rest of the game. I think self-revives are in a perfect spot right now. It's just the issue is if you nerf the self-revives, it's gonna make a large category of guns even better, including the bully, by the way. So like they if anything, like the self-revive is OP because of how quickly you can heal after a fight or during a fight, right? When you have 100 regen, which is literally every kit, right? When you have 100 self-repair speed, you heal pretty goddamn quickly. And that's like the larger issue you're trying to complain about. But the issue with nerfing self-revives is, once again, you would just get third-party 24/7. And with how much PvP is in the game, you probably should have an option to revive and get self-res. You know what I mean? Getting a pick from a distance shouldn't mean you win a fight. You know what I mean? You should not be winning a fight because you get a pick from a distance. That's just not how this game should work. Now, yes, other extraction shooters do that. For example, Tarkov, you just get a kill and then you're good. But the issue is, like in this game, I actually like that the fights have a little bit of longevity to it because of the self-revive, right? You can't just giga push. But you're not wrong in the fact that the self-revives create a shotgun meta because the only way you can finish off a team is by getting up close and shotgunning them to death, right? That is like a bit of an issue for sure. Honestly, what they should do with the self-revive is they should probably make it so you stand all the way up when it revives you, but I don't know. There's a lot of issues regarding that because once again, if you get downed at a distance, you're just dead, right? Like, and that probably shouldn't be how this game functions due to the way the time to kill works. And if you want to make the game hyper lethal, you can, but everyone's just going to be running bullies then. And people are already doing that, to be fair. But, debuff after self-revive where you take longer to self-repair. That'd be pretty good change, actually, Juan. That would be a good thing. Add like a 5-second debuff or a debuff that scales with your hardware or something that does the same thing where it makes your healing be less effective. Pretty good. It'll be like high-level Apex for keeping your team at full conditions more important than killing a team because third party happen too often. Not sure if that's what we're looking for. Exactly. Right? Self-revives make fighting against a third party possible. So, you know, positioning matters with self-revives, especially on this map. And now the next issue is, okay, there's another big issue here that we're not even talking about, is that in Dire Marsh, self-revives are not cancer, actually, because at the end of the day, when you knock somebody and knock them down and they have to self-revive, you can use that time to reposition, get a wider angle, and have another angle to shoot them at, right? We did that multiple times tonight where we like killed somebody that was, you know, that we had a squad pinned down. We knocked them so they couldn't hold as many angles. We take more angles, self-revive, yada yada. We push it methodically, right? That's good. That's skill expression. Now on a map like Cryo Archive, you could argue that self-revives are an issue. But even then, especially at our rank / level, self-revives are completely fine. Because usually when somebody dies, the whole fucking 3-man team runs at you with self-revive, or runs at you while you're self-reviving and still kill you. Self-revives are encouraging more team play. And yes, you may say, oh, I don't want to have team play. I want to be able to kill a squad on my own. like 1v3 like some of you guys are saying. But like, that's not a good thing. Like, if you want to be able to 1v3 a squad by just like getting slight peaks like that, I don't think Marathon is the game for that at the moment, right? Like, once again, maybe they go that direction. Maybe that's what they do. But I think a lot of people like Marathon because it's different. If you go 1v3, that team has to be blind and deaf. If there were no self-revives, you could easily 1v3. Or if they made self-revives like really bad, you could easily 1v3. Not easily, but you could. Self-revives are good. You know what I mean? Like, they're very healthy for the game, I think, right now. It's just, one, makes this Mizraya meta, but Mizraya meta is also made by the fact that there's no other options close range. Like, they shouldn't, extraction shooters shouldn't be entirely reliant on, like, Twitch shooting skills, unfortunately. Not having to down the same team 5 times over and then losing because we didn't have self-res or get forced into 1v3. Why don't you not have self-res? You're playing ranked against the highest level people, or playing Cryo Archive with the highest amount of loot that you can get. Why do you not have self-revives? They're easily accessible, right? People have them on them all the time, and you can buy 3-day and barter for them. Like, are you saying that you want to be able to kill a team with less supplies? I don't, that doesn't make much sense. You know what I mean? They're too common. Okay, if they're too common, why are you not buying them? If that's what if you're saying that you don't have them, right? 1v3 is impossible with them around. You should not be able to easily 1v3. That's also the point. You should not be able to easily 1v3. A 1v3 should be knee-bitingly hard, or nail-bitingly hard, rather. Right? You shouldn't, like, if you're wanting people to be able to easily 1v3, unfortunately, you're probably on the receiving end of getting fucked by that change. Just want you to know that. 'Cause don't get me wrong, I also get annoyed by self-res, but self-res completely invalidates skill? No, it completely rewards skill for knowing when to push up with it. You're conflating the only skill in the game is out-aiming somebody, when that is not the case. Marathon is won by positioning, not by... Or, okay, Marathon should be won by positioning. Most of the time it is. But, you know, you have the Mizraya, so... We're not trying to convert this game to only Twitch aim being the main thing. Like, a team that bubbles their person with a self-revive should be rewarded for that. You know what I mean? Or if you get it down, you shouldn't just be holding the same angle. You should probably be taking some sort of advantage while they're self-reviving. Right? We did that multiple times tonight, where we down somebody, we push up a little closer, and then that guy has to heal while we're making a possible 3v1 because they have 2 angles. And then even though that guy heals up, we're still pushing as a team. It's completely different lobbies, but once again, I think it's a skill issue, unfortunately, at this point. I have a lot of bad experiences of folks not getting finished, lose the fight. You know, that's totally it. It feels really sour when you're like, oh, we almost won that fight, but this guy got the self-revive up. Fuck. You know what I mean? It does feel bad. But 90% of the time, you're killing the self-revive anyways. So many players want a game where everyone has 0 advantage, no matter how much value you bring in. Literally. Oh yeah, throw a nade. Throw a nade at somebody. We literally had 2 people push us. I threw a nade after they got down and they couldn't self-revive. Easy. I mean, like, there you go. By the way, if they nerf nades more, self-revives are gonna get even more cancer. That's another issue. So that's why you can't nerf nades too much, because nades are really good at stopping self-revives. For example, if they're sitting in the poison tick from the down, you can actually stop somebody from self-revive, which is really funny. Goop nade would be an interesting thing if the restriction prolonged. If you sit in the goop nade, the puddle on the ground, you can't self-res in, because it constantly ticks you with damage, and it makes it so your self-res can't trigger, because you can't take damage while you're self-resing. Or you can't, like, actually, that's just if you get res. Self-res is a little different, but it does prolong it as well, because it reduces your healing. Marathon is a game that turns happiness into sadness, but I play the game so much. The extraction shooter loot, baby. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. You can make a reasonable argument that self-res is too strong. Yeah, once again, I think I could totally entertain the idea of, what's it called, of self-revives being strong. Like, I think self-revives are a little strong, and I think a nerf could be warranted in the amount of time that you can recover from it. But even then, I don't fully agree with it as well, because at the end of the day, self-revives in our games usually don't win fights. Most teams don't bring in more than 2 self-revives, but the issue is when a team, like, we kill a team and we take all their gear, we then have another set of self-revives, so we have 4. At the end of the day, if you can't win a fight because they keep on self-rezzing, and you can't wear down the supplies, you should just not take the fight. You should just not take the fight. is the real answer. So we started doing that in cryo. In cryo, we literally, a lot of times this weekend, there were multiple cryo runs where like multiple teams got out, which is not super common nowadays. But everybody knew that they couldn't push the other team without getting fucked by the third party. So nobody was pushing. Yeah, it was kind of goofy. Like, you don't have to take every fight. You know what I mean? And like, if we try to extract and they fight us at extract, then that's a different story. You know what I mean? But you don't have to take every fight is the real answer. I don't know. I think self-revives, this is why I'm saying I don't know if they want, I don't know if I want them to nerf self-revives without other nerfs. It's kind of like the bubbles. I think the bubble, nerfing the bubble on its own just made every other stupid gun way better. And I think like we need to start making nerfs not in a vacuum, because at the end of the day, making nerfs in a vacuum lead to really goofy shit, unfortunately. So like, I think for example, all the like the melee nerf and the shotgun nerf or the waster nerf, I think would have been entirely unnecessary if the recon buff went through. You know what I mean? Like, I think if the recon buff went through, those two nerfs completely unneeded. Situation that bothers me is lower gear friends being out of self-res makes them make an even fight a loss, or if you have man disadvantage, you get kills that don't stick. I mean, you're not wrong. It is annoying. Like, that one team that I would have killed, I would have had to finish off their self-revive, and it would have been, like, hard. But also, once again, 1v3ing shouldn't be a super common thing. There is the issue of new players and them getting gear, gear fucking their advantage up, right? But, I think, what's it called? I think that's another hard thing, right? Because if you queue at a high level, if I were to invite like Spiky, or even if like Kel came back and wanted to play more marathon, he would be in my lobbies, which are like 130, 30 like level lobbies, which is like fucked. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously everybody at this lobby has the bare minimum of like self revives, purple shields, and a lot of shit like that, right? So there is an issue of like new players, but Bungie has actively been trying to fix that. And once again, I don't think nerfing the top end matters, because then you'll just get arc raiders, which has no end game. What's going on here? But I always thought it's dumb to nerf and buff things most of the time at the same time as a near reaction. But in games like this, much more complicated and the only numbers game. Preach, prototype, preach. Huge. And to end the conversation about game balance, because I want to get like the final thoughts that on it. I do think that there is a lot wrong with the game. I think the bully needs to be like, my initial knee-jerk reactions. Self-revives probably need something tweaked. Bully needs to be nerfed. Mizraya needs to be nerfed. Bubbles need to be nerfed. But I don't actually agree with that either. I think bubbles don't need to be nerfed. Grenade fuses need to be nerfed, and they need to revert the stack changes. They need to give you more vault space. They need to make other guns better. They need to make the knife better. They need to make the waster better again. But the thing is, once again, you nerf the bubble, mid-range gets a lot better. Mid-range getting a lot better means the bully gets a lot better. Nerf shotguns, bully's gonna get even better. Nerf rebuff the waster and nerf the fucking, I don't know, nerf other shit. It's just so complicated, bro. This meta, they're kind of making... So, okay. The real answer is, I don't think they're ever going to balance this game. And I don't mind that. But, they need to make sure that they nerf stuff quick enough. If they change stuff a lot and make different things OP for a while, I'm okay with that. Like, they should probably make it next season where the bully is, like, bad. But then they also need to make sure that if they're gonna nerf the bully to make another gun better, they need to buff another gun. They can't just, like, make us all use the overrun as it currently exists and be like, have fun. Because no one is gonna have fun with that, right? My balancing philosophy when it comes to games as a game designer, with all the studying I've done, is I think you should balance a game, a competitive game, esports game type stuff, to be one gun is good for a long time. You slowly nerf that gun for like a month. You try to like make it good for a month, right? Or make it more balanced. If you can't make it balanced, you nerf that shit into the ground and you buff something else fun and make another unused gun OP. You know what I mean? Like, if they make the gun suck ass, if they make the bully suck ass, but they make the copperhead OP, I'd be okay with that. But they need to make the copperhead more available as well, right? That's like the hard thing as well. Because like, for example, in League of Legends, which I think takes this balancing philosophy the best, where basically a character will be OP for like 3 patches and then get such a guttural nerf that their character is literally useless. So that character can't be played, basically. The only issue, obviously, with that is that you can always pick different characters. So you can't necessarily directly port that over to Marathon. Like, if they made the bully disgustingly bad and made the copperhead the must-run gun, the game would feel like shit because you can't get the copperhead all the time. So they need to do something about the availability of guns, I think. It's the same reason why the Mizraya feels kind of bad. Like, yeah, they nerfed the Waster to be completely terrible. But like, you can't buy the Mizraya. It's kind of sucky. So we'll see what they do. I think it'll be really hard. I think Bungie needs to definitely look at the availability of guns though, and stash space. Because also, I think I would not mind Mizrayas being so hard to get if I could actually store more than like 4 of them in my inventory without my inventory exploding. Is the truth, Nuke. Literally for weeks, leading up to Cryo Archive, I could have had at least like 8 Mizrayas, but I couldn't keep them in my stash. My stash had to be liquidated. So that is an issue. That is like actually like a really, really big issue, to be honest. And I think that's actually probably the biggest issue plaguing the game right now is unironically vault space. But